Combat really starts with the tone of this world, the survival action, making my way through these environments. And we want to set up these humans as realistic opponents in this world. They're also trying to survive. So that just poses the question, what would you do to survive? A lot of the stuff from the No Country for Old Men reference is, how can we get more intimate, moment to moment? How can we feel like you as the player are more a part of that gameplay scenario? So this makes us have to think about this stop and pop cover-based shooting that we're moving from Uncharted. How do we differentiate that? How do we evolve that? How do we take what we've learned and push it into a new realm? So we started thinking about like the realism and the groundedness and these other humans. And if I were to pull out a gun, like how would somebody react to that? Well, they probably wouldn't pull out theirs and just start shooting me. They'd probably run and panic, and if there's a few of them, somebody else might now cover his buddy and start shooting at me. If I shoot at somebody and I see somebody's cranium get scalped off with a bullet, I'm not going to just sit there and go, oh, cool, let me shoot you back. I'm going to freak the f out, and I'm going to get in cover, and I'm going to start like flanking, and now I'm going to coordinate with my buddies, and like we're going to try to triangulate on your position and try to take you down. So it started like creating this sense of lethality and this sense of reality that perked that sense of strategy. I, as a player, want to be engaged with strategy, good games, pose a question, right, a challenge in front of me that's like, how am I going to get through this?
And give you interesting options of how am I going to approach this?
And so with the world and that abandoned world, I want to be able to pick up things and possibly come into this, you know, with some expectation of maybe what I'm going to be able to do, yet my opponent is going to be a big factor in like, how am I going to approach this? Do they have guns? Do they have melee implements?
How many of them are there?
How many, the group, if they're working as a group, then that's a huge difference than if I found one guy alone. One guy alone with a rifle, right, will be a challenge unto itself, which, stepping back, one of our biggest challenges for this game is AI. AI from the standpoint of your allies and all the allies that you're going to come and go, let alone Ellie that you're with throughout the game, making them feel real, making them intelligent, making them make smart decisions, and making them aesthetically look like they're a part of that world. And that goes for the enemies as well. The enemies, and feeling like you're against an opponent that is another human being, and it brings that unpredictability. It's not just, here's this kind of gamey whack-a-mole thing that's going to happen, but instead this unpredictability based on numbers, based on weapons. And we started thinking about this, and it created this concept of the balance of power. If I have a gun and they don't, then that's a shift of balance of power. If I'm against somebody with a gun and I don't have any bullets left, then I'm going to start strategizing differently. I'm going to move around this world, try to get the drop on him, take his gun, and now I've shifted the balance of power again up at the top.
And that tension kind of led us to make the decision of persistent health, so that there's more consequences to getting shot or getting hit or getting attacked, and even apply, like how I heal myself has consequences. That takes time.
Again, strategies, like when do I attack? When are my windows? Which all keys into the other thing that we want to evolve with both the layout as well as the AI and their intelligence is dynamic stealth. So if I want to get into cover-based shooting, I can get into cover-based shooting. We want to make sure that that's accessible. But you have to watch out for numbers, because enough guns out there, that persistent health is going to drive me to make another decision. So we want to make sure our layouts are open enough that you can now break line of sight, sprint, use the sprint button to clear an area, crouch, use the crouch button to like break line of sight down low cover, so that I can try to flank and draw their attention away or make them confused as far as where I might be inside of this environment.
So an easy option, an easy exit for us would have been like, okay, every time you enter combat, Ellie just goes some places and hides. When you're done with combat, she comes out. But that's not interesting, and that's not really pushing ourselves and what we want to do, and we want to give ourselves these insane challenges. So it's like, how do we incorporate Ellie into the gameplay space? So for one is like just this incredible iteration on AI, what we've done in the past, where Ellie is constantly looking and listening, and she knows the state of the other NPCs. So when she moves from cover to cover and you're in stealth mode, she's not going to break stealth for you. She can kind of make decisions on her own through this gameplay space. When Joel is cornered or out of ammo, she can pick up an improvised weapon like a brick and throw it at the enemy, hitting him, stunning him for a second, giving you an opportunity to either rush the guy, hit him and take his weapon, or kind of try to run away and like breaking back into stealth.
So we already have sort of a history of being able to create allies that aren't always in your way and annoying. You know, in Uncharted, like most of the adventure is with an Elena, a Chloe, a Sully, somebody else. But we want to evolve that. We want to push that even further. We want to get more attached to this person, yet still keep that principle of we're not a babysitting mission. We don't have to like supervise these people. They're capable of doing things on their own.
I mean, we're gamers. We know if we make a whole game that's an escort mission, we would hate it. We wouldn't want to play that game. So for us, it was important to make Ellie from the get-go a very capable character, with still a place to grow, still a place to evolve and like change both in character and in gameplay.
It's a weird way of looking at it, but kind of everything that we're doing in development of this game is going for the hardest thing possible. And then when it breaks, we'll pull back to what games tend to rely on, which is like HUD, right, interface, control scheme, right, these kinds of things where we don't want to just start off saying like, I want to control Ellie. I want an interface that says like hide, run, distract, whatever that throw brick, right? Whatever that thing is.
Because then she stops feeling like a person. And if what we're trying to sell here is this character-driven story, we can't do that. So it's like, how do we make her feel that she, in the gameplay space, she's making interesting, sometimes surprising decisions? Something we really started hitting on with Uncharted 2 actually is this playable cinematic moments. And that means it's not just cutscene, it's on the stick, it's part of your core mechanics where all this like epic stuff is happening. And in The Last of Us, it's different, right? The Last of Us doesn't really, you're not going to have this plane that's like crashing and like you're playing that in real time. It's a
different world.
It's a different world. So, but that concept still translates. It just means more intimate set pieces. And we're not ready to talk about that quite yet, but there is a translation for that concept to the world of The Last of Us.